Welcome back to The Explainer. Whether you're trying to figure out modern relationship dynamics or just fighting to hold your own in a high-stakes boardroom, today is for you. We're doing a deep dive into the psychology of self-mastery, emotional control, and resilience. Now, we're pulling from a collection of highly opinionated, heavily debated source materials today, but we're going to impartially unpack the actual psychological frameworks inside them. Think of this as your masterclass in handling rejection and commanding self-respect. Let's get right into it.
So, here's a thought. What if rejection isn't a failure, but a filter? Seriously, think about that for a second. Instead of seeing it as this devastating blow to your ego, what if it's actually just an incredibly efficient sorting mechanism? It's a complete 180-degree reframe of how we typically view emotional setbacks.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're covering 1. Rejection as redirection. 2. Cultivating a core purpose. 3. Mastering emotional control. 4. The power of detachment. 5. Composure under pressure. And finally, 6. Setting healthy boundaries.
All right, Section 1, Rejection as Redirection. Let's reframe failure.
The sources present this really striking idea. Rejection is a filter. It removes people who are not meant for you and moves you closer to the people who are. You see, the fear of rejection, that's what causes weak behavior, the anxiety, the overthinking, all that nervous energy. But if you can just strip away the ego for a minute, rejection is literally just data. It's information. Think of it as mental weightlifting. It's not a personal attack on who you are. It's honestly just a necessary rep at the gym of life to build up your psychological resilience.
This brings up a really fascinating contrast in how we interact with the world. On one hand, you have seeking validation. This is that anxious trap where someone constantly needs approval, they're terrified of embarrassment, and they react with this really desperate, overcompensating energy. But then, compare that to seeking respect. This is the grounded person. They completely own their inherent value. They actually use rejection as a tool for growth, and because of that, they project a super calm, confident energy. Transitioning from that desperate need for validation into a quiet, firm demand for respect, that is the absolute core objective here.
Moving right along, Section 2, Cultivating a Core Purpose. Building your foundation.
If you want resilience, there's an absolute non-negotiable rule here. Your identity must be built around your mission, your growth, and your legacy, not another person. To avoid the trap of compromising your standards just to stay comfortable in the short term, you have to choose yourself first. Because look, if your identity is entirely wrapped up in how someone else perceives you, you are instantly vulnerable. Refusing to let relationships or outside validation distract you from your life's core mission, that acts as the ultimate shield against emotional devastation.
Okay, Section 3, Mastering Emotional Control. Let's look at the internal mechanics.
Emotional control is defined in our sources specifically as treating your emotions as signals, not dictators. It ensures you respond with authority rather than just reacting with panic. And make no mistake about it, emotional outbursts instantly destroy respect, period. Whether you're navigating a super tense boardroom negotiation or a really complicated relationship moment, the person who stays calm under fire, that's the one who earns respect and holds on to their authority.
Let's paint a picture. Imagine being thrown into a really stressful emotional test. The reactive person gets completely hijacked. They panic, they chase harder, they apologize excessively, and they basically beg for attention. But the grounded person? Totally different story. They just observe, silently. They create a little distance, they hold the narrative, and they maintain absolute composure. They simply watch the game play out, without ever mirroring the chaos in the room.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, the power of detachment, finding that mental freedom.
Detachment is defined here as the ultimate freedom from emotional hijacking. It's the ability to put your self-worth back into your own hands rather than relying on some external narrative. Now, it is absolutely crucial to note that detachment is not about being cold or heartless or emotionally numb. Not at all. Actually, it's a profound sense of mental freedom. It's this incredibly empowering state where you just don't let your well-being or your mood totally collapse just because someone else reacts negatively to you. All right, Section 5, Composure Under Pressure. This is about external execution.
When the pressure is really on, you need actionable steps to keep your physical and verbal composure. Step 1. Reframe pressure as an opportunity to prove your strength. Instead of seeing a high-stakes moment as a threat, tell yourself, okay, this is a challenge. Step 2. Practice pausing after key points. Silence shows control. Embrace what they call silverback silence, which is basically just refusing to fill the empty space with nervous chatter. And step 3, utilize the slow blink secret. Okay, so what is the slow blink secret? It's deliberately slowing down your blinking during eye contact to project supreme confidence, ease, and intentionality. It's a really subtle physical hack, but avoiding those rapid, jerky eye movements subconsciously communicates extreme comfort and authority to whoever you're interacting with. It instantly signals that you feel safe and that you are completely in control of your environment.
Finally, Section 6, Setting Healthy Boundaries, How to Actually Enforce Self-Respect. I love this visual metaphor from the text. Boundaries aren't walls, they are gates. Walls block absolutely everything out because of fear. Gates, on the other hand, command respect, they control access, and they protect your peace. You are the one who decides who earns the right to actually walk through them.
The sources highlight a few non-negotiable filters against manipulation. First, respect my time. Chronic lateness signals a fundamental lack of value. Punctuality is demanded. Second, no disrespect. Belittling, even when someone tries to playfully disguise it as sarcasm, is just unacceptable. Third, space is sacred. 24/7 dependency stifles growth. You need room to focus on that core mission we talked about earlier. And finally, privacy is paramount. Constant surveillance or demanding location sharing, that signals a fundamental lack of trust.
But here's the thing. Boundaries are completely useless without enforcement. So first, communicate your boundaries calmly and early using I statements. Second, anticipate tests with neutral foresight. Look, people will naturally push at the gates just to see if they're actually locked. And third, enforce consequences immediately through withdrawn access, no empty threats. Your willingness to simply walk away is, hands down, your absolute strongest leverage when a standard is crossed.
Which brings us to the end of our deep dive, leaving us with this final, really provocative thought. Will you compromise for comfort, or will you stand firm in your standard? The psychology we've unpacked today challenges you to take ultimate responsibility for your own emotional resilience. You are the architect of your respect. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, and I'll see you next time.